Hi, I'm Josh Melberg, and I'd like to share with you what recently took place. One of our new clients, John, called us, and I'd like to share you about his situation because he was still working, and he's a little concerned about what's happening in the economy, what's going to happen to his portfolio, and will he have enough money, or will he outlive his money, or will he be able to live on the current money or income he has in the future. Here's a little bit about his situation. John was 57 years of age 57, and his wife is 55. And we know he's going to retire at 62. Well, at least that's his plan. He says, Josh, I have a portfolio in a 401k and that I did an IRA rollover, and I know at age 62, my Social Security is going to be approximately $1,200 a month. And a few years later, my wife will also receive Social Security. And then when she turns 62, hers is going to be about $1,000 a month. Now, he still has a house payment, but he says, Josh, my house will be paid off by the time I retire. I have a plan for that. That should be taken care of. But my living expenses, I really would like $50,000 a year. I would like to have close to over $4,000 a month. Even though my basic living expenses is low, I only spend $25,000 a year on the basics, I still want to have money for travel and fun and gifting and things like that. And I also want to have a slush fund to pull from. So he says, Josh, I currently have approximately $500,000, $550,000 in my IRA rollovers, plus I have a little bit of cash. And the purpose of this money is to make sure my wife and myself can never run out this money, but I'm a little concerned. I don't want to put it all in stock funds. Banks aren't paying anything. So what we did is we looked at using the hybrid income plan for part of his portfolio, because the hybrid income plan allows for him to get lifetime income for himself and his wife without losing control of the money, meaning he can always cash it in down the road and has the opportunity to increase. But we know what worst case scenario would be. And here's what took place. We know that his income is going to be about $25,000 a year between him and his wife for his basic Social Securities. One other thing we had to look at is we know that something happens to one of the spouses, the greater the Social Security stay, but the lesser one goes away. So one of the things we have to address is how are we going to replace income should something happen with the spouses. Okay? But the other part is he wanted an additional $25,000 a year minimum when he turns 62. Okay? So what we did is we looked at one of the hybrid income plans, and we took a good part of his 401k IRA rollover, and we got the highest floor because he didn't need it for 5 years or 6 years before he needed to turn on income. And because he's age 57, this is the minimum the income account value can grow by, regardless of the market going down. But if the market did better than 8%, then he could make more, but it can't be less. So when we were looking at this, I said, John, if you look at this, don't do this for the hypothetical of the market doing better. Do this for the minimum guarantees of income. Okay? So here's what we took place. We ran a case scenario to where his money would grow 8% for income purposes for the next 5 years. And if he wanted to continue to work to age 64 before he can, but his money would grow to $432,000 year one. And the nice thing about this is John has the ability to turn on the income or turn off the income any year that he wishes. And the floor will continue to grow for 10 years or 20 years. It depends on the term of the account. But he doesn't mean he has to keep it there that long. But the longer term he lets it grow, the higher the income will be. So by the time he's age 61, his income account value can't be worth less than $544,195, and by the time he's age 62 to turn on Social Security, his income account value can't be worth less than $587,731. Okay. Now, if he turns on income at 62, his income will not be less than $29,386 per year for the rest of his life, and he still has his money. And if you set up the right plan, even though it's an IRA, his wife has the choice of cashing in the pot of money if something should happen to him, or continuing that plan and receiving that income as well that she can't outlive as well. So they did not lose control of the money. They have the right to cash it out, but if they cash it out, the pension stops. If he decided to turn on income at age 62, his income would be no less than $29,000. But if he decided to wait maybe a couple more years to age 65 and he wanted to increase on Social Security, he could do that too. Because in year 6, his money would grow to $634,749. Year 7, it can't be worth less than $685,529. And year 8, his income account value could not be worth less than $740,371. Now, what's interesting about this is if he decided to wait to age 65 before he turns on income, his income would be significantly more. His income would be $40,720 per year for the rest of his life, and he still has his money. Now, if he decides to cash half of it out and leave the other half in, he can do that. But if he did that, then the pension would cut in half. But no matter how long he lives, he can receive this for the rest of his life. And if it's plan set up properly, the spouse can continue this plan as well. Now, the nice thing about this hybrid income plan, this is worst case scenario. It can't be less than that, but it could be more. And what I mean by that, it has two charts competing against each other, to where we know that the market's going to go up and go down. If the market goes up, John participates in the gains. But if the market crashes, he doesn't lose anything. But if the market goes up, he gets the gain. Market goes down, he flatlines. Now, it has two charts. If the market does better than 8%, which is kind of tough in this market, but let's say we did have inflation. This is hypothetical. And I said, John, don't do this for the hypothetical. Do it for the guarantees. If the market goes up by 10% year 1 and his account grows to $440,000, then if $440,000 is more than $432, John gets the greater of these two values. But if the market crashes by 20% year 2, he's flatlines. He stays at $440,000. Okay? But if 466 is more than 444,000, he gets the greater of these two values. Let's say 8 years from now, his account grows to $900,000 because the market did better. Okay? If his account grew to $900,000, John's pension would actually increase. It would actually grow to $49,500. Okay? Keep in mind, that's highly unlikely for it to do that in today's market, but it does have a chance to beat inflation if it did better. But John's doing this for worst case scenario, not for the hypothetical.